Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be talking to you today and having a mystical conversation. My name is Reverend Sue Frederick, a Unity minister, master numerologist, and author of several books, including the Angel Up book series. Today, we're going to have the kind of conversation where we lose ourselves in the wonders of divine mysteries, share dreams from the other side, intuitive nudgings, and soul mission yearnings. Our guest today for this wonderful conversation is someone I've been crossing paths with for the past few years. She's involved with Helping Parents Heal, as I am, and Unity of Phoenix as well. And you all are going to love her. Her name is Sunny Dawn Johnston. She's an acclaimed New Thought leader, psychic medium, spiritual entrepreneur, and mentor. She's the author of 22 books, including her flagship bestsellers, Invoking the Archangels and The Love Never Ends. These have become the cornerstones for many of her keynote topics, such as intuition, mediumship, and the angelic realm. Through her courses, private sessions, and live events, Sunny has grown and cultivated a diverse global community. Whether in person or online, her strong mentorship encourages thousands of students to connect with their heart and the core of their being and guides them to experience life in a newer, more high vibrational light. She is the creator of the Elevate Your Life membership site, a virtual community focused on designing a high vibrational life bursting with abundance, self-love, and joy. Leading the Elevate Your Life community, Sunny focuses on accountability, support, and guidance as the solid foundation of intentional and lasting transformation. Sunny's latest endeavor, My Spiritual Biz, is a membership community for spirit-based, heart-based entrepreneurs. Sunny's 30 plus years of business experience and her multi-million dollar generating team guide and mentor members who are starting, building, or growing a spirit-based business. SDJ Productions has expanded Sunny's work beyond writing and speaking engagements and into publishing and producing events. Upcoming events are Angel Day and a mystical mystery trip with SDJ Sunny Dawn Johnston. She has also just created a new Oracle card deck, the multi-dimensional Oracle cards that are a huge audience favorite. In her spare time, she's involved in the spiritual community and volunteers as a psychic investigator for the international foundation called Find Me, a nonprofit organization of psychic investigative and canine search and rescue volunteers collaborating to support law enforcement and families of missing persons and homicide victims. She resides in Glendale, Arizona, and she's a firm believer in work-life balance. She focuses on family, service, community, and friendship to encourage harmony in all areas of life. Hello, Sunny.
Goodness gracious, we have got to shorten that. That is a lot to say. Wow.
You know, I love it that you say that because I always feel that way when somebody reads my bio. I'm like, oh my God, stop, you know?
Yes, I'm like, okay, I need to put a new bio up that is like a quarter of that, a tenth of that. But
Oh,
thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
I love your energy. Well, by the way, I should mention too, you've given me your date of birth, and I know you know this, but your path in numerology is the Aries 8, which is about owning your power in every area of life, from spirituality to emotional to physical to financial. And boy, you have got it going on, girl.
Those eights follow me around, and I love that you are a master numerologist because numerology was one of the first things that I started in
Yeah, me
this whole
too.
realm.
Yeah.
And I love numbers of all kinds. I always
Mhm.
have. So,
So
um,
tell me how you found numerology.
well, it's kind of an interesting story, but how I actually even just got into this, Sue, was I actually just went to bed one night and I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw my guardian angel
Ah, tell
above
me.
my bed. And, I hadn't had any experiences with angels. I didn't really believe in angels. I wasn't sure that that was a real thing. But yet, when I woke up in the middle of the night, I knew that the experience that I had and what I was seeing was something that was real and something that not everybody understood. And so I was fascinated and intrigued and mostly curious. And so after that happened, I'm like, okay, I want to learn how to connect with the angels. I want to start talking to them and feeling that energy of unconditional love, like I felt that night. I was a little bit of a unique kid. So at 13 years old, my answer was, well, go to the library and go do some studying around it.
Yeah,
Let's read some books. And so
right.
I went to the librarian and I said, hey, I want to learn how to talk to angels. And she sent me to the occult section.
Of course.
Um, and in the occult section, there were three books. Or three kinds of books. There was a book on numerology, there's a book on astrology, and there were books on runes. And so I checked all three of them out, thinking I was going to learn about angels, which I
Right.
didn't. But I learned about those, and they've always been foundations of things that I love and am fascinated with anyway.
That's wonderful. And so, what has been the journey of, you've covered so many different spiritual topics in all of your books and all of your work. Um, but for a moment, I want to talk about the angel work, your angel books. And um, can you just kind of give us the story of how you feel angels help us and how you see angels and what you've learned about angels?
Oh, sure. The angels were the beginning for me, and so I think, as it's probably true for you too, that's the most tender, deepest, strongest connection that I have, and it's what I think is an easy bridge
Right.
from this human realm to that greater connection. And
Yeah.
so, for me, I think that the angels showed up at a time in my life when um, I was really insecure and 13. I mean,
Hmm.
there's not a lot of us that were secure, but I for sure was not one of them. But they showed up at a time where I was struggling. I didn't fit in. I was raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. And so I wasn't Mormon, and my family on both sides, everybody else, and it seemed like the whole state was, and then there was me. And I was odd. I was just a different kid. And so I never really felt like I fit in. And so the angels came in at a time where I think I was feeling so disconnected and from everything, everyone. And that was a thing I could connect to. That was safe,
Hmm.
loving,
Hmm.
gentle.
Hmm.
And that really, when they started presenting themselves and teaching me, it was like I was a student in class, and I loved being a student. I loved to learn. So
Yeah.
I literally would just, tune in, write notes, take notes about what they were telling me and what I was experiencing. And I was introduced to the different archangels and what they represented and how I could work with them better
Hmm.
um, to help bring more ease into my life. And I really think that without that connection, I don't know that I would have I'm certain that I would not have the life that I live now, because there have been many, many difficult journeys along the way. And I believe that connection is what allowed me to transcend, to shift out of, and to raise a frequency beyond
Yeah.
what life was showing me at that time.
So, Sunny, as an Aries 8, an energy that I'm quite familiar with, Aries 8 sometimes don't like to show their vulnerability or their pain because, they're incredible, powerful forces for good in the world. But I also know that when we share that pain, it opens other people up to say, well, if that's what helped her, I know it can help me.
Mhm.
Would you mind sharing one of your moments of pain when the angels did step in or when your spiritual wisdom got you through it?
Sure. That's such a great question. And that's interesting to me, because that actually has been the journey for me of how I've been able to, I think, heal, was by being vulnerable. So it was super uncomfortable initially, and I would hide
Of course.
experiences and hide all the things. But over the last 30 years, that's been required of me, and so I love it, and I love vulnerability. I think vulnerability is the new strength. So that's great information. Goodness, so many. I guess I will say that one of the challenges that I really experienced, and I'm gonna choose two, one from when I was young, because we have a variety of different ages audience wise, and then one from when I was a bit older. When I was young, I think that one of the great challenges for me was I didn't fit in, and I wanted to fit in, and I didn't. And the angels really helped me to recognize and learn how to love myself enough to know that I could stand in the energy of who I am, even though I wasn't sure who that was exactly, um, and that I had gifts and that I was unique. And because I had this real strong ego that was just like, we're not like everybody else, and I didn't, even like I quit school when I was 15,
Wow.
and I became emancipated from my parents when I was 15. And so I really I created a unique journey
Yeah.
that created a lot of fear.
Hmm.
And in that fear, I attracted unhealthy circumstances and situations and environments, as we do.
Right.
And they were able to help me throughout that have something to
Yeah.
hold on to,
Yeah.
because there wasn't a lot else, like they never left, and
Right.
I left, and I checked out, and I disconnected, but they never did.
Yeah.
And that energy of unconditional love really, I think, throughout my life proved that, um, number one, that it was real, and number two, that I always had the support if
Yeah.
I would allow it.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was younger, I think it was that. Now, as I've gotten older, I'm 54 now. And I think that when I was probably about maybe about 10, maybe 15 years ago, I thought, I've had a lot of life experience and I've learned a lot. I got a lot of wisdom. I think that I'm probably good. Like, I think I've learned enough. I think
Right.
I've gone
Right.
through enough of the hard stuff. And,
Right.
I'm teaching all this stuff. So I think that there's like this point where you're done. Like, you don't have to keep going through it. And that wasn't true.
Right. That's the great joke about life. It's like once we reach a certain level, the next level appears.
Right. And you're like, no, I think I'm good. And then,
Right.
oh, no, 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 we're gonna ascend.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
great.
Now you're
Yeah.
ready for the next
Yes.
level. Yeah,
And,
of
and I
course.
think at some point when we start, recognizing that, okay, life is a series of opportunities and expansion and growth, and then it's experiences of expansion and growth again. And
Yeah.
I always had this sense that, you would just get to a place where you'd be
Right.
like
Like,
settled, but I'll
yeah,
be,
I got it all figured out now.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
And
cruise.
yeah, that didn't happen. So
Yeah,
I'm still learning with everybody. I'm still growing and ascending and expanding. And I think that happens when we're dead, you
it
know,
is. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason we're here on Earth is that we're in the
exactly.
process of evolving our soul and helping others evolve. So that never ends. And if you are done, then it's your exit point, and you
Exactly.
get to return back to the all-knowing, all-loving higher self and the
Yes.
world of divine spirit and God's love and all that good stuff. As long as we're here, we are growing, learning, and expanding. And that is something hard for humans to accept. I've met so many, even clients who say, I did my career, I raised my kids, I was a good person, and now everything is falling apart, and I don't know why. And I'll go, yeah, because you did all that wonderful growth and stepping up, and now the universe is peeling away what no longer serves you, so that you can step up to the next. And as you and I know, that's reflected in the numerology 9-year reinvention points as
Yeah,
well. So
sure
you,
is.
Sunny, are in an 8 personal year this year, along with your 8 life path. It must have been an incredible, powerful year for you this year. Or you tell me what's going on.
It's been interesting because it's been incredibly powerful in redirecting my path. So I'm in the nine, just like all of you. I'm in the nine with you, like
Hmm.
the end of, I let go of my personal brand. I started a school that is for mind, body, spirit, expansion and growth, and spiritual development and personal development. And it's been expansive. It's been challenging. It has been a lot of growth, a lot of opportunity, and also a couple of times where I've been like, why the hell am I doing this? Like,
Yeah,
I had it figured out. It was like, not
right.
that it was easy, but like I did, I really kind of had things set up. And why did you just
Yeah,
decide to create a new business and
yeah,
start like from scratch? Not really
yeah.
scratch, but kind of.
But you
Uh,
see, that affirms to us that you are listening because
yes,
spirit will always tell us we need to grow and change and evolve. You
100%.
know, I remember back, I don't know, I guess a long time ago, 9 years or 10 years ago, and I had gotten upset with this outer world for political reasons and all kinds of stuff. And I really said, well, I don't know how I can be teaching spiritual truth if I'm upset with this world. And so Spirit said, oh, bingo, time for you to go to ministry school and immerse yourself in a new understanding of God and a new understanding of this divine universe. So, in spite of the fact that I was old in my late 60s, and in spite of the fact that I had tons of clients every day and classes, I went through this major re-falling in love with God by going into Unity Ministry School. And it was hard, it was demanding, it was testing, it was everything you could imagine. And I felt at times I was barely hanging on with my fingertips.
Mhm.
And, but I also know that when we say to our higher self, to the universe, hey, I'm struggling to keep all this together, show me the next, show me the new, then they are so happy to open that door. And it's always going to be unexpected. It's
Yeah.
going to be the thing you really weren't planning to do.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% I agree. And I do think that all of us need to give ourselves credit when we are willing to get uncomfortable. Because,
Right.
comfort to me is the pause. It's
Right.
not life.
And
It's
to
the
become a
pause.
student again, whatever that
Absolutely.
means in everybody's life,
Yes.
rather than thinking, oh, I've got all the answers, I have it figured out. Like
Yeah.
we go back into the library and we
Yes.
start learning more and we
Yes.
study a new path and we study new things. And suddenly our soul just goes, wow, yes.
And isn't it interesting that we do get to that place where we're like, okay, I just want to break. I just want to take a chill for a little bit. And then
Right,
it 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 manifests in a way that is so enticing to the soul. Like
right.
our ego cannot deny it.
That's right.
Like, okay, yeah, I'm in.
I
And
love it that you say enticing to the soul
yeah,
because really that's the message for everybody listening is that your mind is going to tell you something totally different. You know, your mind is going to say go to bed or go to a party or go watch TV,
yeah, your mind's going to
But
distract you.
right, right.
Yeah.
But your soul is going to go, oh, you remember that class you were thinking of taking, or you remember that event you were thinking of going to? And the soul is going to be pushing us to
Yeah.
step up that way. And the soul is always right,
Yeah,
as you
always. It never, ever, ever is wrong.
That's right.
Spirit always wins. That's what I say. Spirit
Spirit
always
always
wins. So
wins.
I can go
Yes.
kicking and screaming, but it's going to win. So I might as well just step in now.
That's so true. So
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Another thing about you, Sunny, that I think is so great is that an eight path soul is always going to be drawn to business and success. It's just part of the thing. So do you still have that part of your business where you're coaching people about how to run their
I
spiritual
do.
business?
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about that for a minute.
It's interesting because I have no formal education. I quit school when I was 15. And I think that when you have a desire to be the change and make a difference in the world, that those tools, those gifts, they show up. And so I never ever would have thought, 40 years ago, that I would one day teach business classes to people in spirit-based, heart-based businesses. But what
Right.
I found is that so much of what people are getting hung up on is the education. They're
Right.
stuck in the way that you have to do everything and not allowing spirit to guide them through it. And that's where people, so I spend more time on mindset
Mhm.
and the energy of a business than
Right.
I do on the step by step things, because when
Mhm.
you can get that, the
Yeah.
rest are right. People show up,
Yeah.
and so I feel really, really blessed that way. And I also recognize that, it's unique. Like a lot of people struggle with not just saying,
Yeah.
oh, this is the way and it's always
Right.
the way. It's like, no, 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 no. What's your
Right.
intuition say? What's your gut say? How are you feeling about that? And
Right.
like,
Right.
wait, that doesn't apply. No, actually, yeah, it's actually the most important thing.
Yeah. And that's so interesting because, I've never run my business in the conventional way that you're supposed to run it. And yet I have been, pretty successful. It's been 20 something years I've been doing this for a living, so I
Yes.
think I've kind of figured some of it out. I'm not
Yeah,
about to say all of it because the
sure.
universe loves a statement like
Exactly.
that.
Love the challenge. Uh-huh. Oh, let me just show you another little arm
Right.
that you didn't
Right.
know.
So, what I think is that the clients who say to me, oh, I can't do marketing. I don't want to do marketing. I don't even think of it as marketing. And I'm sure you're the same way. It's like, I have this new idea. I want to share it with everybody. I'm so enthused about it. I got this new download from the angels. I want to help everybody understand these concepts. That is, I guess, soul marketing. It's like when your soul just wants to get it out to the world. So you're willing to go post about it. You're willing to write another book about it. You're willing to go speak about it. And it never feels like something separate from me or my soul. Is that how you see it or teach it?
I do. It's actually, you like stole all my words. Yeah, to me, I've always been like, I don't sell, I share.
Right.
And in my sharing, and whether it's my vulnerability, whether it's the struggles, because I share a lot from what not to do, because I've had
Right.
lessons that way.
Of course, that's how we
Um,
learn.
exactly. So, and I've learned a lot, and so I really think that sharing is the way that we can shift that concept of like sell, 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 marketing, marketing, marketing. It's like my essence, my energy is meant to share with those that are interested.
Yeah.
I'm not here to force anybody into anything. I don't care if people are not interested, but it's
Right.
those that are interested. And so I think then when you have that energy, I've never ever felt like it was a job. I've
Yeah.
never felt like this was work, although it's work and it is a lot of work. And I make a great living and all those things. It feels like just an extension of my soul
Yeah.
traveling through this
I
physical
love those words. Those
experience.
are a perfect description of it. The other thing is that angels, one thing I talk about is how angels are our first responders and they always step in with so much love and sweetness, and it's a different frequency than, for example, a departed loved one or a spirit guide or something. Do you feel it that way, or tell me how you experience the angels?
Yeah, I do. I when I teach classes like on angelic connection or mediumship, I always talk about the different vibrational frequencies.
Yeah.
And that was the way that they taught me, was that, if you're wanting to connect with your deceased loved ones, that's going to be a different frequency and there's going to be
Right.
more density there.
Right.
And if it's a spirit guide, it's going to be a little lighter, but the angelic realm is the highest frequency. It's the most unconditional loving frequency. And I think that's why the angels were introduced to me initially first, because that energy felt, I could feel a very different energy that way.
Yes.
Whereas when I started to connect with deceased energies, those energies felt closer to the
Very
density
different. Yeah.
of myself, right? But the
Uh-huh.
angels stood out like, wait,
Right.
this is different than what
Yeah.
I've experienced in the humanness of my life, right?
Yeah.
And so I think those different frequency, and it's hard to teach. Like
Yeah.
you're a teacher, so it's hard to
Yeah.
teach how to be aware of those different frequencies until you start being open and present enough to experience all of them to go, oh, this is different than this.
Right.
And it's a personal experience in the way that they show up for you too.
Yeah. I always say that when the angels show up, you feel like you're being held and loved by the divine circle of mothers that you've always wanted to have in the earth realm and probably didn't have.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're all around you, just loving you and just going, "Oh, we love you. We lift you up. We're going to lift your frequency. Trust us, trust yourself." My experience of the guides is that they're a little more removed and they'll go, well, what do you think is the next lesson for you in this experience? And like they'll kind of counsel you, or talk about your life plan. But the angels just come in with such a love.
Yeah.
There's no questions, there's no counseling. It's like, we love you. And
Right.
I say that because everybody on earth today has angels around them. And we just have to acknowledge it. Like, just look up and feel it for a second, and you will just feel that sweet love wrapping around you. And don't doubt it, don't question it.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. And I think when we can allow ourselves, I think is the word, allow ourselves to receive that love, because so many of us are used to having a desire to give the love, but
Right.
not open ourselves up enough to receive it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a challenge too, because of the training and societal,
And
ways
especially
of
for
being.
women,
Mhm.
we're taught that we're supposed to be the loving, supportive people. And if we don't realize that we've got to have that channel of love coming into us from the divine, from the angels, then we're just going to be we're going to empty ourselves out in bad relationships,
Yeah, well, and
which
then it builds
been
up, and
there,
then we have
done that.
resentment. Yeah, so we have resentment, then we have anger, and then we have judgment,
Right,
and then we're empty. And when we're empty, then we get sick.
right,
You know?
right, right.
Mhm.
So frequency, you were talking a lot about frequency, and I love that. I feel like it's taken 20 years really for the concept of frequency to become a mainstream conversation.
Mhm.
Because you remember back even around 2005 when quantum physics was being brought into the conversation, What the Bleep Do We Know? The
Mhm.
Secret, all those great movies. And suddenly people were going, "Oh, my energy matters. Oh,
Mhm.
I can shift my energy." And now that's not a foreign concept to anyone. Like
Right.
everyone sort of knows this. And I think you and I both know and talk about in our work how gratitude is that ultimate shift. Can you talk about how you see and experience and teach gratitude as that frequency shifter?
Yes, I think that, in so many different areas of life, we could probably take it in relationships, in finances, in health and wellness. That if we look at where we're at, and most people, when they look at where they're at, they are not satisfied.
Right,
And they either focus on the lack, or you focus on the abundance. And
right,
that, hey, I'm healthier than someone. I'm wealthier than someone, and so that gets into comparison, which creates some lack energy. But
right,
most people are always in comparison. When
right.
we're in gratitude, and I also really love the word appreciation,
Yeah,
because appreciation appreciates. It
yeah,
expands that appreciation. When we're in that energy of gratitude and appreciation, we are rising above the reality of the way we are seeing and feeling it. So we're choosing a different frequency intentionally. And we're doing it every single time. So when we start getting into the gratitude practices, when we start speaking appreciation into the ethers,
hmm.
that energy then expands within us and it raises our frequency.
And
And I think
it's
it's
so immediate, the
powerful.
shift of our energy when we
Yes,
even think one grateful thought.
yes,
And when you realize that frequency, then you become very aware of the opposite, like bitterness, blame, victimhood. Those are such low frequency vibrational states, and they will sabotage your life at every step.
yeah,
And yet, it is such an easy thing to say, and I am so very grateful that today their sun is shining and my cat is here and I can breathe and I
yes,
have food.
yes.
Grateful. I remember at one point in my life when I was a single mom and I was really struggling financially. My career had crashed, and it was a 9-year reinvention point. And I was about to step up to my real work. But in the dark night of my soul, I realized I had to every day go, okay, do I have enough food in the pantry today to feed my daughter? I do. Yay. Do I have enough gas in the car to get her to school? I do. Yay. And just get down to those very basic things so that I could get my energy going for her. And back then I had this young child that was my motivation to get it together.
Yeah.
And I even tell my clients, pretend you're a single mom with a young kid and then get motivated to shift your energy and start being grateful and start looking for the opening, the next and the new.
Yes. I think, I can relate to that too. I had a child when I was 18 and was on food stamps and welfare and barely surviving. And I think that, when we have an experience like that, anything, anything that is beyond that is just a gift. Like we're
That's
so
right.
appreciative, and it's, I'm completely financially secure now, but I will never forget that feeling.
Yeah.
I know what that feels like to walk into that welfare office and be humiliated, right? So,
Yeah.
so I was so grateful that I had just enough formula to make it to the next day, or grateful that I actually did have a roof over my head, even though I didn't have electricity and running water,
Right.
things like that. So that energy, I think, is what there's a survival energy,
Yeah.
that then I could get out of the survival
Yeah.
and into the thriving, and
Yeah.
be so grateful that in that moment when I was struggling, that I could see beyond the moment.
Right.
There has to be more. Like, God didn't put me on this earth to suffer
Right.
my entire life. There's yes, I might be now, and there's got to be something to learn from it and something that I
Yes.
can help others with. And then I will move beyond that, and I will rise.
Yeah.
And when we rise, then we bring others with us, and we
That's
teach them
right.
how to do it, and we save some of
That's
those
right.
single women from having to do the thing that we did.
That's
Right.
right. And talking as women, I really do believe that women are the more evolved souls here because they're coming in to walk that hard journey of probably having family to take care of or children and having to make the living
Mhm.
and having to find their spiritual truth. It's like we sign up for all of it.
Yeah.
And we also come into a society that is still saying that we are the second class citizen to the man, the powerful man.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we are from the Divine Mother Mary. We are held by the angels because we are coming in as the life givers here, and we're going to agree to walk this very challenging earth world, and
Mhm.
at every turn somehow be connected to our gratitude, our sweetness, our angels, our beautiful children, and figure out how to get moving forward. Whereas I believe if you incarnate as a man here, most of the time, it's a little easier journey, not all the time, but most of the time it is.
Mhm.
And so kudos to you women listening, kudos to
Yeah.
you, Sunny, kudos to all of us, and especially the single moms and the grieving moms amongst us.
Yes.
Very accelerated soul journeys.
Yeah, we chose a fast track.
We did.
We chose the fast track. We're like, okay, I'll go in there and I'm just gonna check all the boxes. I'll just do
That's
all
right.
the things, and I'm gonna do it real quick, and I'm gonna learn real fast. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, we're the
And
A
then we
plus
get
students.
down here and we're like, oh my God, what was
Yeah.
I thinking?
I used to say, I think I must have been drunk when I was in the line.
Yes,
Like, what the heck was I doing? Because
right.
let me just sign up for all of it. I'll take all the experiences.
I did the same thing. I even have a memory, Sunny, of being about to jump into this lifetime and my guide saying, now you're sure you want to do this? And me going, yes. And my
Mhm.
guide saying, just remember, courage in your heart will get you through. And
Mhm.
those words like courage and heart just kind of came into the lifetime with me. And
Mhm.
I know that at many turning points in this life, we all have free will. I could have, gone to the vodka bottle or something, but instead I kept looking for that courageous next step.
Mhm.
And I say that to all the listeners when you're facing your dark night of the soul, is the time to be most courageous of the heart, to feel what you need to feel and to take that leap wherever the light is leading you to go. And I know you teach a similar thing, Sunny.
Yeah, I think it's what I found for myself is the courage and the heart for me was allowing myself to
Beautiful.
receive help, receive support,
Yeah.
receive acknowledgement, receive compliments. Like I couldn't do any of it. And that was what I think made a great shift for me in getting myself out of the lack mentality and the fear
Right.
and the struggle is opening. Like I literally would open my arms and open my heart and open my chest to receive that connection that I'd experienced. So I knew it was real, but I had blocked so much of that out in the human world,
Yeah.
you know?
And the reason we do that in the human world is our human mind that we agree to have when we get
Yeah.
here, because it's going to help us cook dinner, do
Yeah.
the
Do
laundry.
accounting. Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
But the human mind, it kind of distracts us from the soul guidance that all of us are getting all the time.
Yes.
And, when you're saying you opened your heart wide, it's like all we got to do is go into the heart and we start feeling, and the mind finally takes a back seat because the heart and the soul are so much more powerful and their guidance is so much more clear and it comes in with such a high frequency. Whereas the little human mind is like, oh, who do you think you are? You're not good enough. Oh, why do you think anybody would come to your event? Oh, look how unattractive you are. Like
Got it.
that's the
Yes.
human mind.
Yes. And that human mind takes up a lot of space until we don't allow it to any longer.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right, sweetie, is there anything else you want to share? This has been a wonderful conversation. I'm very, very grateful. And what is your website and what else would you like to tell us?
Well, I love all of it, and it's always fun to connect with someone who is of like mind and like heart, and who we've crossed paths all in different places and didn't get to physically
Right,
connect and meet after all of these years. So I really appreciate that. And this time of the year, I think we are in the last month of the last month of the cycle of the nine cycle. Like it's
right.
a
The
lot of
nine
people
universal year.
are challenged. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are afraid. There's a lot of that energy, and I know
There
you're
is.
experiencing that with your people as well. And
Yeah.
and I think the great gift is that if we can breathe into the release and the reinvention and the recreation, and we can really trust and allow that there's beautiful energy on the other side of it, but we have to let go.
And there is, because numerology is never wrong. Boy, that one universal year is coming in January. It'll have a completely different frequency. It'll give us an energy of rebirth, of stepping up to the new and the next. And there's no sense trying to be afraid and hold back because the energy is going to tumble us forward, like it or not. So we
Oh
might
yeah,
as well
we're
get up
going.
and
We're
run.
going. It's
Yeah,
where it is. So you might as well just jump on and go on
that's
the
right.
ride, right?
That's
So I think there's
exactly
an
right.
opportunity to be excited as much as if you can let go of the fear. And so
Absolutely.
that's super exciting. And so you can find me on my website, my new website, because I went into the reinvention and decided to do this
Right.
crazy thing. So it's schooloflight.biz. And we have a really fun quiz on there that helps you to identify if you're like a seeker or a beacon or a leader or an adventurer. So we just created that. So that's been fun to help people work on. And I'm really excited. I appreciate this time and raising the vibration, get into that energy of gratitude and appreciation, because that helps us shift quicker than any other thing we can do.
Now, everybody, this is Sunny Dawn Johnston who is talking to us, and she is such an angel, as you can see. And Sunny, you've written 22 books, which is more than I've written, and I've never met anybody who's written more books than me. So, what is your most recent book, and especially the book people can find easily on Amazon and tell us?
So there's a lot of books on Amazon, but the book I just was looking to see if I have it sitting here, and I don't because I brought it to a class. Is my Angel Numbers book. So I wrote a
Ah,
book on angel numbers, and it helps people to just recognize what the messages are behind the different frequencies of 444 and
Oh, that's
333
so
and
good.
222. And it's just a little book. It's called The Little Book of Angel Numbers.
Oh,
Because I looked around, I'm like, there's not much on this. And why is
yeah.
there not? Because it was one of the validations through my life that's been really, again, I connect with numbers. So
Hmm.
it's always spoken to me. And I'm sure that is true for you
Yeah.
as well. And so that's the most recent book, and that one was last year. And I'm hoping that I'm done, but I
No,
can't
no,
say
no,
that
no, no,
I
Sunny. No, honey, let me just ease that burden of thinking you're done.
am. Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, don't give me another project right now. I got to get this business going that you wanted me to do first.
Right, right. Well, I think, you and I work so similarly that we have to take orders when they arrive.
Mhm.
And I've told the story that I thought I was done because my eyes have gotten really bad. And I mean, I'm doing surgery, I'm doing everything I can, but still, it's very hard to write a book when you can't see if it's a
Yeah,
comma or a period, you know?
sure, sure. Yeah.
And so all of a sudden last year, the angels were waking me up at night going, "You have this book, you've got to write." And they were like pouring it through me. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And so I ended up writing these three Angel Up books, but they did pour through very, very easily. I say that to everybody that the minute you feel you're exhausted, you can't go on, or you've done what you need to do, there's a new and a next waiting, and all you have to do is say yes and thank you. And so I say yes and thank you to you, Sunny, and I can't wait to see you again in person. And this has been an absolute wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much.
Many blessings. Bye bye.